Okay, hi guys, I think I'm live now. If you can see me and if you can hear me, please message in the chat that everything is good and you can hear me. I'm quite certain today will be a very useful session. It will be a session which I hope will give you some motivation to work hard, because I think CAT is approaching quite fast and I want all of you to start working very hard. Please do like the stream. We have close to 20-25 people who are watching the stream live. I want to get to 100 likes before the stream ends. This stream is dedicated to students who have just started preparation for CAT and who are targeting 95%. That is the target group for today's stream. Let us see some of the questions that people are asking, and after that I'll carry on with what I want to say. Sudhir is saying good evening sir. Good evening Sudhir. Akash Ghosh is saying sir, getting 60 marks in mocks. 60 marks in mocks I think is a good score. It's a fairly good score if you're targeting 95%, because in my opinion, if you can increase it from 60 to around say 75-80, you're definitely in line for getting the 95%. So 60 marks is a solid platform to have right now. Amod Patel is saying yes, I think there are no issues with hearing. Kartiki Palakar is saying good evening sir, I would like to more about IIMA FABM. IIMA FABM is for Food and Agricultural Business Management degree. It is a good degree for students who are looking to pursue something in the agricultural field. Some of my very close friends from IIMA have done this degree and they're doing quite well in their careers right now. So if you are coming from an agricultural background, this is definitely only for students who are coming from an agricultural background. So if you're coming from an agricultural background, this is definitely a course that you should look at. Sudhir 22 is saying, I'm getting 80 percentile marks. Am I in good pace of prep? If you're getting 80 percentile in marks, I think you're definitely on course to get 95 percentile. I'll tell you why. I don't want you to get complacent, but one of the reasons is that if you're getting 80 percentile, it means that if 100 people are taking a mock, 20 people are doing better than you, but 80 people are doing worse than you. If you carry this to the actual examination, most of the toppers are actually taking these mocks. So most of the guys who are actually going to probably do better than you in the actual day of the examination, they're actually going to take these mocks. But many of the guys who are not preparing seriously don't take mocks, and there's a very good chance you will actually beat them on the final examination. So if you think about it, if you have a sample size of say 100 people who are taking this mock, 20 of them are very good. These 20 will probably do better than you even on the day of the examination. And this is just an extreme example. 80 people are worse than you, and most likely these 80 will do worse than you on the day of the examination. But on the day of the examination, it is not 100 people who are taking the examination. You can assume that say it is multiplied 10 times and say 1000 people are taking the examination. Now out of this 1000, the 20 people who have already beaten you will say again beat you in the examination. Now the 80 people who you have beaten will also probably be beaten by you on the day of the examination. The remaining 900, most of these guys are the guys who are not taking mocks regularly. What can we say about them? Probably these guys are not very serious about CAT. So amongst those 900, you will probably be beating more than 80 percentile or 80% of the people who you are normally beating amongst the people who are taking mocks. So amongst that 900, if you are say beating 800 of them and 100 of them who are not taking mocks still beat you, this would imply that overall you have beaten 880 people. So your percentile is 88 percentile. You see what I'm saying? The whole point or the whole logic for this is that many people who are actually taking mocks are serious aspirants. Especially the guys who are beating you in the mocks are serious aspirants, and many of the guys who are not taking mocks, which is the vast majority of the 2 lakh people, they will not perform very well on the day of the examination. So your percentile will automatically improve. Having said that, I want you to focus on improving your percentile significantly from now on. So if you are getting 80 percentile in mocks right now, in my opinion that is actually closer to 90 percentile in the day of the examination, just by the logic that I just mentioned. But I want you to focus on improving it from 90 percentile, and you can realistically improve it to 97 percentile based on the fact that we still have around 5 months to go, 4.5-5 months left. Tanish Singh is saying, sir, my DILR is not improving. VARC is 30 plus, Quant is 20, but DILR is below 10. Then you have to really focus on your choice of sets. I'll tell you why. If you are looking at CAT 2019, CAT 2020 and CAT 2021, in each of the 3 years, if you are looking at different slots also, you will definitely find at least one set which is very easy. This is especially true for CAT 2021. In each of the 3 slots, there was one set which was directly based on the DIs, based on some bar chart or based on some pie chart. Very simple. You have to just look at the graph, note down the values, and then answer the question. If you are getting that set correct, that has 4 questions, and you are definitely directly getting 12 marks. So 12 marks is a bare minimum in DILR if you are just not very nervous and if you are able to hold your composure on the day of the examination. This is definitely going to be true even in this year's CAT. Basically, there will be at least one set which will be very simple. The reason for that is also very clear. From the standpoint of the people who are actually setting this examination, they don't want people to ruin an entire section, and then that will also percolate to the next section. Many toppers that I know completely ruin DILR because of nerves or because of paranoia, whatever is the reason, and they are not able to recover in time and do well in quant. So many of the people don't want that to happen. Many of the paper setters also don't want that to happen. So they're giving one set which is very easy, so that everyone feels that okay, paper itna ganda bhi nahi gaya, where they know that okay, probably I didn't do very well in the examination, but at least I haven't ruined it because I got one set correct, and then they can focus on giving their best even in quant. This is basically the mindset of the paper setter. So you can be rest assured that you will at least get one set correct. After getting that one set correct, how are you going to improve in DILR? This is something that I always tell people. Just Google search. I think the phrase is given above me. You just Google search Krakow CAT previous papers and download the PDFs of CAT 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020 and 2021. It is extremely important that you solve the LRDIs from previous year's CAT papers. Download the PDFs, keep them on your desktop, and every day solve say 2 LRDIs. Now once you solve an LRDI, it is likely that you are getting it, sometimes you won't get it. In the PDF itself, there is a button for you. If you click on the button, you will get a video solution. It will redirect you to a new tab, and then the YouTube link will automatically open where you can actually see the video. We have done it, we have put in a lot of effort to make it very easy for students to make the best use of the previous papers. So definitely do that. That is the second thing that you should do, and this is going to consume sufficient amount of your time. The third thing I would really recommend you if you are looking to improve in LRDI is do the Krakow daily targets. Krakow daily targets are an extremely good source for improving in LRDI. Every day we give one LRDI along with video solutions. So people who are doing the Krakow daily targets on a consistent basis, they get access to around 250 to close to 300 LRDIs, all of them with video solutions. Now that will really set you apart. You will suddenly feel that okay, I have solved a diverse set of LRDIs, and on the day of the examination you will actually feel a lot more confident. So it won't happen that on that day you have a lot of paranoia or self-doubt with respect to LRDI, because you will trust the amount of hard work that you have put in. These are the 3 things that I would recommend you to do to improve in LRDI. Guys, we have close to 60 people who are watching this stream live. Please do like this stream because I want to get to 100 likes before the stream ends. We have only 33 likes. Definitely take the number of likes to above 50. Arnav Chattaraj is saying, sir, getting 65 marks in mocks, should I target more? Now, if you're looking at the stats, okay, if you're looking at the numbers, let me just actually bring out the numbers. Then you will have a much better idea about what is needed for you to score 95 percentile in CAT. If you're looking at say CAT 2021, roughly 95 percentile in overall score will be around say 72. So you need to get 72 marks approximately to get a score of 95 percentile. In VARC, 95 marks, 95 percentile is 34 marks. VARC, I think in CAT 2021 was slightly on the easier side. In LRDI, 95 percentile is 24 marks. And in Quant, 95 percentile is also 24 marks. These are approximate values. Now, if you are targeting overall percentile of 95, this is what I always tell people. This is a slightly risky strategy, but people who are very certain that okay, I need to get to that magic figure of 95 and I want to clear the sectional cutoffs, then I would tell them to ensure that you're crossing, like they say, the 75-80 percentile in each of the individual sections. Roughly, for somebody who is say good at quant, the 80 sectional mark in LRDI would be 15. Like I just mentioned, you will definitely get one set correct. That one set is 12 marks. You need to try and get at least one more set correct. If you're not getting one more set correct, at least ensure that you're getting some of the questions correct. In addition to that, never leave any theta question unattempted in DILR. Many times the theta questions, if you just guess the number, you are going to get it correct. Because in DILR, theta, especially in DILR, the theta questions are guessable. By guessable, it won't be that you are definitely going to get the correct answer. But many times it will be that, okay, in which round did a particular person face another particular person? Suppose this is a games and tournaments question. Now you know that the number of rounds are limited. The number of rounds will be either the first round or the second round or the third round, or you actually know the number of rounds by reading the set itself. Maybe there are 5-6 rounds. So that theta question, if you just attempt some number, the chance of you getting it correct is say 1 in 5 or 1 in 6. And many times if you have a sense of the set, if you read the set, you can actually eliminate some of the rounds. You can say that, okay, it will not happen in round 1, it won't happen in the last round, round 6. So it has to happen only in rounds 2, 3 or 4. Now you are going to attempt some number and hope that it is correct. And there will be at least 2 or 3 theta questions like that. Essentially what I'm saying is, if you plan it properly, you can increase your probable score. You can increase your expected score. These are simple tricks that you will do, and these are tricks that you are going to master only if you take a lot of mocks. Essentially, if you are trying to get 80 percentile in Lrdi, you need around 15 marks. You need to get one set correct, and there will always be one set which is easy. Get it definitely correct, and in addition to it, try to solve one more set. Try to the best of your abilities, and don't lose any theta questions. Don't leave it unattempted. Go for educated guesses, intelligent guesses. Then if you are looking at 80 percentile in VARC, that is just 22 marks. 22 marks is getting 7 questions correct. If you put your mind and soul and attempt reading comprehensions, you will at least find out of the 4 reading comprehensions, 1 reading comprehension which is something that interests you. Then try to ensure that you read it thoroughly and try to get it correct. If you get it correct, you are going to get 4 questions correct, that is 12 marks. You need to get just 4 more questions correct for you to cross the 80 percentile. There are theta questions in VARC, especially the verbal ability part. There are also some questions in the reading comprehensions only, where even if you don't understand the entire paragraph, just by looking at the questions and looking at the options, you can at least eliminate some of the options. You can easily figure out that, okay, this is not correct, this is not correct. It has to be either option B or option C. And go with that and try to ensure that you get at least 4 more questions correct. Again, that is not a big ask. Getting 8 questions correct in VARC is eminently possible. Once these two are tackled, once you are getting 80 percentile in VA and 80 percentile in Lrdi, then your focus has to be in completely acing quant. This is the strategy I would recommend, especially to engineers who are targeting the 95 percentile. Ensure that you are getting 80 percentile in VA, ensure that you are getting 80 percentile in Lrdi, and try to completely ace quant, because you can really increase and really rack up your score in quant. It is completely in your hands. Even if you don't get one question correct, even if you are not sure, just focus on the important topics. People who watch my stream know the important topics in quant. So if you are a regular viewer of Kraku streams, please do mention the 3 very important topics for quant. We have close to 80 people who are watching this stream live. Guys, please do like the stream. We have 60 likes, but I want to cross 80 in the number of likes, because the more people who like the stream, the more motivated we will be to conduct these kind of streams on a regular basis. Rajdeep Ghadje is asking, sir, what is your score when you appeared for CAT for the first time as a student? I'll tell you that story. Just give me 1 minute. So the things that when I first took CAT, that was back in the day when I was a student, I was not very good at verbal. I was fairly good at quant, I was fairly good at Lrdi, but I was not very good at verbal. So I did very well in quant. I think I scored 99 plus in quant. In Lrdi, I think I got around 95 percentile, but in verbal, because I was not very good at it, I scored 78 percentile. So the overall score, again similar to the strategy that I mentioned, which is what I actually followed at that time also, where I completely tried to ace one section. And in those days, the first time I took CAT, we had pen and paper. So there was no sectional time limits. So what I did was I catered a lot of my time into quant, and I completely aced it, but I missed out on the verbal sectionals. Because at that time, the cutoff for verbal ability percentile is 95 percentile. That was 95 in quant, 95 in verbal, and 95 in Lrdi. Right now, the sectional cutoffs are much lesser. So it is actually quite easier for you. It is 80, 80, 80. At that time, it was 95, 95, 95. So I clearly missed out on the verbal sectional cutoff. because I think my strategy was not very good. I should have focused and ensure that my verbal ability cutoff also is cleared, because there was clearly a weakness for me. And because the percentile required was quite high in each of the sections, the strategy that I used didn't really work out well. My overall percentile was actually pretty good. My overall percentile I think was around 99.7, a very good percentile overall, but I didn't clear the verbal sectionals, so because of which I didn't get most of the calls. The next year I changed the strategy. The next year I first of all became super obsessed about verbal. I used to put in a lot of effort in verbal. I used to work at it diligently every day, and in those days we used to have even grammar questions. Sentence correction questions, identify the part of the sentence which has error. Those kind of questions were also there. So I worked out, I figured out after talking to a few friends that my verbal ability, my spoken English also has to be good for me to do well in verbal. In those days that was the case. Now it is not the case. Now most of the questions are actually based on reading comprehension. So your comprehension skills are more important. In those days, because grammar was also involved, verbal ability or spoken English definitely adds some help. So I used to buy novels, English novels, and I used to read out the English novels out aloud, because that used to help me in understanding what is a good way of phrasing a sentence. So this helped me in improving my grammar, because once I read good English, good books, then when there is a sentence which has an error, I could easily identify that, okay, this part of the sentence doesn't sound correct. I don't know what are the rules for it. I don't know either this parallelism or what are the rules of grammar or what are the rules of tense. All of those things I didn't know. I just knew that, okay, it doesn't sound correct. So that way I worked a lot on my verbal, and I became definitely better at it after 1 year. And my strategy also changed. My strategy for the next year was that I'm going to cater a lot of time for verbal, because I wanted to ensure that I'm clearing the cutoff. And I'm going to ensure slightly lesser time for DILR and Quant. That was the strategy that I used, and that was dependent on my own personal experience, where I figured out that last year I was not able to clear the verbal cutoff because I catered a lot of time for Quant, and that worked out quite well for me. The next time I gave I think 50% of my time only for verbal, and 25% for Lrdi and 25% for Quant, and my percentile again was quite high last in the actual time that I actually got into an MBA institute. But this was the strategy that I used. Shweta Vijay is saying, I have joined the batch and I am following the schedule. Very good, Shweta. Just ensure that you stick to the assignments that are given from the batch every single day. Don't let any backlogs accumulate. 1 or 2 days if you miss out, that is fine, but ensure that you clear the backlogs over the weekend. Suri is saying, I'm a non-engineer guy. How much marks do I need in every section to get 97 to 99 percentile? I'll tell you how much percentile you'll need in each of the sections. Just give me 1 minute. So if you're looking for 97 percentile approximately, overall you will need around 81 marks roughly. If you're looking for 97 percentile in verbal, you'll need around 38 marks. This is based on last year's CAT 2021 marks. If you're looking for 97 percentile in DILR, you'll need around 29 marks. So you need to get around 10 questions correct. You need to get one 4 set question correct and one 6 question set correct. If you're looking for 97 percentile in Quant, you need around 28 marks. 28 marks is not very difficult in Quant. You just need to get 9 questions correct. Last year there were 22 questions. Out of the 22 questions, if your accuracy is very good, you should attempt 9 questions and get 9 questions correct. That is definitely possible. Because in Quant, there will definitely be questions which are definitely on the easier side. Okay guys, we have close to 78 likes. Please do like the stream. Many guys have actually answered my question about what are the 3 important topics for Quant. They are arithmetic, geometry and algebra in that order. Arithmetic involves topics like ratio and proportion, averages and percentages, time, speed, distance. These are the things which you would have, most of you would have studied in your 10th, and definitely engineers would have studied in their 11th and 12th. So these are not very topics which are completely new. These are topics which are fairly easy. As somebody who actually makes questions for our dash cats, I know that difficult questions from these topics are actually not easy to make. So sometimes when I feel that, okay, I want to give a tricky question in say ratio and proportion, it is very difficult to make a question which is tricky in ratio and proportion. So for you to actually get a difficult question is not likely. So if you attempt and if you understand these concepts well, there is a very good chance you will score 100% accuracy in these arithmetic topics. The next thing is geometry. Geometry might feel intimidating because there are a lot of theorems, lot of formulas involved. But again, if you think about it from a logical standpoint, the number of formulas in geometry which are needed for CAT will be less than say 30. If you understand 30 formulas and how to apply them, if you just put in the effort for each of these 30 formulas, for each formula if you are doing 5 questions, you will definitely be able to get at least 60-70% of the questions correct in the actual examination. And how much time is it going to take for you to learn one formula and how to apply that formula? It is not going to take you more than say 1 hour. 1 hour per formula, there are 30 important formulas. If you master them, and by mastering in this 1 hour, I want you to first understand the formula, how to apply it, and solve 2-3 questions from it. Now, if you are spending 30 hours, you feel a lot more confident about your geometry abilities. And that is going to definitely help you in doing better, just that confidence on the day of the examination. The third important topic is algebra. Algebra will involve topics like quadratic equations, linear equations, everything with variables, inequalities. Again, an important topic. Difficult questions can be asked from this, but most of the time you are going to get easy questions. Essentially, if you master these 3 topics, there is nothing which is stopping you from scoring very well in quant. Mahesh Joshi is saying, how much questions are there from these 3 topics of quants? From these 3 topics, out of 22 questions, I would expect at least 14 questions. So roughly 2 out of 3 questions will be from one of the 3 topics. So they are super important. Aish is saying, sir, when IIMs release their batch admission policy for upcoming batch, is it after CAT notification or after CAT result? Most of the times, IIMs release their admission policy, that is what is the weightage given to 10th, 12th, what is the weightage given to CAT. Most of the time this is released during the CAT notification time. So most of the time it will definitely be before the examination. That was what has happened in the last few years. And this admission procedure doesn't change quite a lot. It is always fairly static. Sometimes it changes. I think in the last couple of years, IIM Calcutta has changed its policy slightly. It didn't really impact a lot, but some slight changes happen. And we have a very nice and very useful tool for you to figure out how much percentile is needed for you based on your profile to get a call, to get a shortlist call from each of the IIMs. That is called CAT percentile required for IIM calls. The link to access it is given in the description of this video. We are going to post it even in the chat. So in that page, if you enter your details, if you can enter how much you scored in 10th, how much you scored in 12th, how much is your undergraduation score, how much work ex do you have, are you an engineer, are you a non-engineer, all of these details if you fill up, and if you click on the button, you are going to get the percentile that is required for you, for your profile, to get a shortlist from IIM Ahmedabad, IIM Bangalore, IIM Calcutta, all of the big IIMs, you are going to get the percentile that is required. To build this tool, we have gone through the latest admission policy, latest criteria for admission, and we have built this fairly robust tool. So definitely use it so that you get a good idea. Endla Pawan Kumar is saying, sir, how many marks are needed to secure 99 percentile in CAT according to previous papers? Thank you, sir. Just give me 1 minute, I'm going to tell you. So 99 percentile, according to our numbers for last year, is approximately say 97 marks, 97 to 100 marks. That is, you need to get overall around 100 marks, so you need to get around say 33 questions correct out of I think 66 questions. Last year there were 24, 20, 22, so there were 66 questions. If you are getting half of them correct, you are definitely in line to get 99 percentile. In verbal ability, 99 percentile would require you to get 45 marks. Now you might feel intimidated that okay, 45 marks out of 72 marks because there were 24 questions seems to be very high. But it is also reflective of the fact that the paper was easy. Many people scored about 45 marks in verbal ability. This would imply that the paper was actually easy. So it is not very difficult for you to score very high. And when the paper is easy and if you are worried about verbal ability, it is also good for you. You know that okay, I'm not going to probably ace it, but at least I would not struggle in it. A difficult verbal ability paper would set the tone for the remaining 2 sections also. So many times engineers feel very demotivated after messing up verbal. But CAT 2021, all the 3 slots, verbal ability was fairly on the easier side. That is why the cutoff was slightly on the higher side. Lrdi 99 percentile would require you to get 34 questions correct. 34 questions would mean around 11 to 12 questions correct. Slightly challenging, but that is what 99 percentile in Lrdi would require. Quant, on the other hand, 99 percentile is 34 marks. Many times people don't perform well in quant. They underperform in quant. This is a story that happens because of many reasons. In my opinion, people put a lot of pressure on themselves that I need to completely ace quant, and because of that, when the actual paper comes and if they are struggling with 2 or 3 questions, they feel demotivated and suddenly they are not able to handle their nerves well. But if you are handling your nerves well, getting 34 marks, that is getting 11 questions correct out of 22 questions in quant is not very difficult, especially because if you're a student who is aiming to get 99 percentile, that is definitely manageable. You just should have your nerves well, and you should handle them well. And also you should ensure that even if you mess up in any one of the previous sections, even if you mess up Lrdi or verbal, you should not get demotivated. There is a good chance you would actually cross 80 percentile in that section. So don't worry about it. Just focus on what is in your hands, which is the next section, which in this case is quant. Okay guys, we have 92 people who are watching this stream live, which is good. Please do like the stream. The reason for that is because we have 90 likes. I want to definitely get around 125 likes before the stream ends. Let me look at some of the other questions. Atisha is saying, want to score 90 percentile in CAT. Is it possible if I start today? I think 90 percentile is definitely possible, but it also depends on where you stand right now. I don't want to tell everyone that irrespective of where you are today, you can score 90 percentile. There are definitely certain cases. There are people who are not at all good at one of the 3 sections. Some people really struggle at quant. They can't really understand many of the questions. Some people are very poor at verbal. They are not able to read properly. They are not able to definitely hold their concentration and read an entire passage. So if you are removing those exceptions, if you are an average student, you need not be extremely good, you need not be exceedingly exceptional. If you are a good student, a meritorious, a student of merit who has scored say 90 plus in 10th and 12th, then I think 90 percentile in CAT starting today is eminently possible. Parag is saying, sir, I want to do 2 years full-time MBA. I'm 28 years old, have 30 months of work, so is it fine? I think that is fine. Many people have these insecurities, people who are definitely above 25, that they shouldn't do 2-year work ex. I think that is not something that you should be really worried about. Definitely not something you should be worried about. The more important thing for you is to focus on improving your CAT score. That will be a tougher hurdle to cross rather than your age or your work ex. Those things don't really matter a lot when you're applying or for your placements later. The most important thing is people who are above 25 for some reason struggle to do well in CAT. So you have to ensure that you do well in CAT. That is the most important thing. Once you do well in CAT, I think you should definitely take an admission for 2-year MBA program. Boss Bhai saying, how can I join Kraku CAT course? If you are looking to join our Kraku CAT course, please do send us a mail to support@kraku.in. Support, support@kraku.in. If you send a mail to support@kraku.in with your phone number and your email address, we will definitely get in touch with you. Asta Jaiswal is saying, what is the minimum number of mocks one should take before CAT? That depends on what is the percentile you are targeting. And I just don't say it lightly, because a higher percentile would require harder effort, would require you to put in more hours. Now that will entail you to give up on certain other things which probably you would want to do. So it is a compromise. But if you are somebody who is aiming to get 99 percentile plus, then I think you should definitely take around 30 to 40 mocks. If you are aiming for 95 percentile, I think you should take around 15 to 20 mocks. If you are aiming for 90 percentile, then I think you should at least take 10 to 15 mocks. Okay guys, we have 1 or 2 likes. We need just 25 more likes. I am sure you can do it. In addition to it, when people are asking about mocks, I want to tell you that we are giving 3 mocks completely for free along with video solutions. You have to just go to the link that is given in our description, kraku.in/catmock, and or you can just Google search Kraku free cat mock and you are going to get the link. Definitely start taking the free mocks. Naren Surya is saying, sir, I have 2.5 years gap already. What can I do to justify it? Frankly, I did not get a job because of COVID. I would tell you to not worry about things that are not in your hands. That you have 2.5 years of gap is not in your hands. That is already done and dusted. What is in your hands is ensuring that you do well in CAT. That is in your hands. So focus on doing well in CAT, because the time for justifications will come later. After CAT, when you get shortlisted for the interviews, then you can prepare how you can justify and how you can defend the 2.5 years of gap. And there is sufficient time for that. Now, don't let your mind be bogged down by these thoughts. They are not productive. They won't help you at all. Just focus on ensuring that your percentile is as high as possible. That is all that I can tell you. Bhaskar Reddy is saying, even I have 1 year gap. Many people have gap years. Many people. At least 20% of the people, maybe even more, who take CAT have gap years. So don't worry about it. Again, like I'm saying, your gap years or your 10th scores or your 12th scores, these are all finalized already. You can't do much about it. What is in your hands is ensuring that you prepare well and do well on the day of the examination. That is in your hands. So focus on that. Okay guys, I'll answer 2 more questions before ending the stream. If you have any questions, please do let us know. Mayank Sharma is saying, sir, I have 26 months of experience, but now I've taken a gap of 10 months. So is it going to be a problem while shortlisting? It won't be a problem while shortlisting. Don't worry about it. You have your work ex. Your profile doesn't ask you what is your gap year. If you think about it, if you don't believe me, go through the criteria of admission for each of the top institutes. They ask how much work ex you have. They are going to ask you what is your 10th, 12th score. They'll ask you how much is your score in undergraduation. These things they ask. Nobody asks you how much gap do you have. They will ask you questions about the gap after you qualify for the interview. Now, after you qualify for the interview, that is in your hands. You know that they are going to ask you that question. So prepare well for it. And we do a lot of streams after CAT about how you can defend the gap year. We've actually done a few videos already. It is not very difficult for you to defend gap years. Definitely not difficult, especially with all that has happened in the world in the last 2-3 years. With COVID, which is like once in a century kind of a big hurdle, you can easily defend your gap years. That is not at all an issue. But it is also very easy for you to get bogged down and feel that, okay, anyway I have a gap year, anyway I'm not going to get a call. So what is the point of studying? I don't like that attitude. That is an unproductive attitude that is not going to help you. What is in your hands is ensuring that you do well in CAT. Once you do well in CAT, you know that they are going to ask you a question about your gap year. So prepare well for it. If you prepare well for it, you can defend it. I have defended many questions about my profile. My profile was not super nice. I have my undergraduation score was very poor, but I was able to defend it. And one of the reasons I was able to defend it was because I knew that they would ask me that question. So instead of feeling worried, at least I knew that I'm going to control the interview, because other students or other friends of mine who had a good profile, no dip in their profile, for them, they don't know where the interview will be. They don't know any of the questions. For me, on the other hand, the way I looked at it, I at least know one question. So I knew that one question they're going to ask me was about my poor academics. So I looked at it as an opportunity where I felt that, okay, I know at least one question that they're going to ask me in the interview. So I'm going to prepare very well for it. You should also look at it in the same way. If you have a gap year, you should be prepared for that question, but you should look at it as an opportunity. Many of the other students don't know what will be asked in the interview. For you, you know at least that they're going to ask you about your gap year. So prepare very well for that question and control the interview. And it is not very difficult. People have done it. Okay, somebody is asking, sir, I'm preparing for CAT in the Kraku app itself. Apart from watching daily videos and tasks, should I practice separately for particular sections like quant on separate topics? If you are our student who has enrolled to the complete course, if you are enrolled to any of the batch, I would recommend you to first solve all the batch tasks. Every day when we send you a mail asking you to watch particular videos, watch them. When we ask you to solve a few questions, solve them. So ensure that the batch tasks that we are asking you to do, you are doing them thoroughly. Every single day when we ask you to do certain things on a daily basis, do them, because that will ensure that your progress is on track. Once that is done, and when you have some more time, then solve the Krakow daily targets. They're extremely important. They're a very nice habit for you to have. Once those are also done, if you have some more time, then go for the Krakow study room. Krakow study room is an excellent database of questions. It will give you questions from different topics. You can choose the topic. You can say that, okay, I want to do questions from ratio and proportion. It will give you those questions. You can say that I want to do questions in say inequalities. It is going to give you questions in that. So then practice on the area of your weakness. This is how you should use Krakow. Okay guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. It has been fun doing this stream. Please do like the stream and please do subscribe to our channel. We are getting close to 1 lakh subscribers. So thank you for tuning in.